Hi friends, it is Megan. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing my May wrap-up. This month was a very rough month for reading for me. I don't know what was going on. I think I might have just pushed myself too hard with 2 readathons in April, and I just didn't have as much motivation to read this month, or if I was just way too busy or what was going on, but it was a rough month for me for reading. I think I only finished like 8 or 9 books, and I normally do like 15 plus, so yeah, it was quite rough. The first book I read this month was Hamlet by Shakespeare. It was a side-by-side text, so it had the Shakespeare text on one side and then a modern English text on the other. I ended up giving this 2 stars. I read Taming of the Shrew last month or March, I forget which one, but it was pretty good compared to Taming of the Shrew. But overall, the text is just not for me. I understand his popularity and everything, but in present form, it's just not something I enjoy reading. So I don't think I'll be picking up any more Shakespeare, because this is one of his most popular ones and I just did not enjoy it. The second book I read in May was Dragon Ball Volume 2, Wish Upon a Dragon, and I ended up giving it 3 stars. It was a lot more fun than Volume 1 because I'm already into the series now and I'm starting to understand what's going on. The villain I should say, in Volume 2 was hilarious. He was telling really bad dad jokes and puns, and I love me a good pun, so that was a really fun scene to read. And then the ending was a little bit abrupt, so that's why I gave it 3 stars. The next book I read, my book number 3 for May, was Wanted by Shepard. This was the final book in the second arc of the Pretty Little Liars series, and this was my favorite book in the series so far. It had a lot more mystery and suspense and actually finding out what happened instead of this like silly boy drama that's been happening a lot in the books, so I really enjoyed this book in the series. There was a few confusing parts about the new introduced character that I was like, about that. I didn't know which side to root for, which is kind of fun, so I didn't know if they were good or if they were bad, and it was fun to just like follow that throughout the book. And I have finally discovered who my favorite characters are, I think, from this book. I really enjoy Spencer, and Emily is my least favorite just because of how much she focuses on her love for Allie rather than anything else. It just feels like that's her only personality trait at this point in the book series, because there's really not much else going on for her, so that's kind of sad because I think she has the potential to be such a good character. It's like she only focuses on her love for Ellie, and it just gets kind of monotonous and boring after a while, so it's kind of disappointing to see where her character is heading instead of where it could head. The fourth book I read in May was A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas, and I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. It was an incredible read. I'm so happy I finally picked up the series because I've been putting it off for quite a while, but I'm so happy I read it because I am enjoying it so much, and I think it's part of the slump that I'm in because I enjoyed this so much. I think it's hard to pick up another book series, so Beauty and the Beast is my favorite story, if you don't know, so I was really enjoying this retelling and the new things it brought to the table with the story and everything like that. I love Feyre, I love Tamlin, I love Rhysand, and it was just an incredible story. The fifth book I read in May was A Very Large Expanse of Sea by Tahereh Mafi. It was incredible. If all contemporaries were like that book, I would read contemporary like religiously because it was so good. The representation, the plot, the characters, the love story, the slow burn, so good, and I think it had the perfect ending. I would love to see an epilogue and see what happens next, but I think it had a very justified and well-rounded up ending. So I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. The sixth book I read in May was Stardust by Neil Gaiman. I gave this 4.5 out of 5 stars. It tells the story of Tristan, who is in love with a girl named Victoria who seeks a fallen star that they had watched shoot across the sky together, and she says that if he goes and fetches it, she will marry him. So he goes and travels the world to get this fallen star for her, and the star ends up being something that he is not expecting, and honestly it was something I was not expecting. So it was just really nice to see the story play out, because I had so many expectations for what I thought was going to happen, and none of those happened. And I always love when a book goes on a different course than I expect it to. The 7th book I read in May was Dragon Ball Volume 3, The Training of Kame-Sennin, and I am so totally getting into the series now, which is super exciting because I love talking to Anthony about it and understand what's going on when we talk about it and the characters and everything. Of course, I'm only 3 volumes in, so I've still got quite a ways to go, but I'm really enjoying it now, so that's super exciting. I think this was the best of the 3 so far, and there was a scene where there's the master of the monks, or the head of the monks, or whatever, and he comes to this world tournament to speak, and the guy was like, "Master, can you give us a few words?" And the dog walks up and goes, "Woof," and then walks away, and he's like, "Thank you for those words." And it reminded me of that scene in SpongeBob where Gary is doing like spoken word. He's like, "Meow, meow, meow, meow," and Sandy goes, "He has such a way with words." I'm weird. It reminded me of that. So that's where, I don't know how, yeah, this is my tangent, and this is my story, because I go from Dragon Ball to Gary doing spoken word, and yeah, okay, moving on. The 8th book I read in May was the short story Rapunzel by the brothers Grimm. I'm gonna hold this up because I don't have the physical copy, because I only had it in a digital book. It was a lot shorter than I expected, because I thought it was going to be like a long story. It was just like a couple pages long. I ended up finishing it in less than 10 minutes. It's a cute little story, and it's much different than Tangled, which is what I'm showing here, but I really enjoyed it. I love Rapunzel. It's probably my favorite fairy tale besides Beauty and the Beast, so it was fun to read that little retelling, or I guess original story. But it was a cute little story, and I gave it 3 stars. The 9th book I read in May was A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas, and this was my favorite read of May. It is incredible. It really changed my thoughts on some of the characters for good, and oh my goodness, the representation, the plot points, oh my goodness, I just really, really love it. I say I love it and then I throw it. Who am I? I'm a monster, that too. Anyways, oh my goodness, so good. I need to pick up A Court of Wings and Ruin, like, probably tonight, because I love this so much, and so good. I wish I had more words to express how I feel about this, but even in, like, the little review I wrote in my journal, it says, "Holy freaking cannoli, so good." Like, thanks, Megan. Thank you for that very detailed and descriptive and novel little review you wrote there. But, so good. And the 10th and final book I finished in May was Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. And this, if I hadn't read A Court of Mist and Fury, would have been my favorite read. I just really, really love this series. It's hard to not say this is favorite, but I'm trying to stray away from like Harry Potter being the favorite every month, because if I was like genuinely honest, Harry Potter would be the favorite of every month. But I'm trying to expand my book tastes, and I think this is my favorite of the series so far, but I just started Order of the Phoenix. I mean, they are all rereads, but it's been a while since I've reread them and gotten into this world, and at the moment this is my favorite so far. I just love the aspect of the Triwizard Tournament and meeting with other wizards and the ball and romance is starting, and yeah, I love it. So that was my May wrap up. I hope you enjoyed the books I read, because I know I did. And I hope that you let me know down below what you thought of the books I read, or what books you read in May. Let me know how your month went, because I know mine wasn't the best. I mean, I still read 10 books, so that's pretty good, right? Like, for 10 books for a slow month, I think that's pretty good. But anyways, I will check in with you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!